So hey there and welcome to the very first We Don't Do Boring podcast with me, Andy Hancock. And this is my spot on the little green and blue dot. So what's my show about? Well, the first thing to do is say thank you. Thank you to all the people who've encouraged me to communicate like this and told me to make a podcast and said this would be great. We'd love to hear what you had to say. So thank you to my friends, family, and all my fans around the planet for encouraging me to do that. So what is the show about? Well, that's very simple. It's about 6 things. There's always a number, isn't there? 4 things, 4 ways to do this 3 ways, 10 things that can make your life better. We just have 6 words. 6 words: experience, time, money, communication, compromise, and balance. So those things run through my life, and I want to pass on my experience with those things to help you save time and money. That's why those things are in there. And that's what the site is going to be based upon, those fundamentals, and they apply to everything in all our daily lives. So that's very simple, and that's what we're going to base all our shows around, the episodes, and I want your input. This is a 2-way street. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, I want your input because I want to hear from you about subjects, about your problems, and about things I may be able to help you with. I'm not super genius Einstein. I can't help you with everything, but my experience, because I'm old, for those of you driving, I'm bald and I've got a grey moustache. So, there you go, I'm old. I can help you with my experience. So who is Andy Hancock? You will know me for getting paid to build sandcastles on a beach. I make lots of videos on YouTube about building sandcastles and about the science of sandcastling. But I've also built container homes. I've been a green woodworker. I'm a chainsaw artist. I refurbished and remodeled my own home along with lots of help. I've done various things on motorcycles. I've raced. I've done all sorts of stuff. I'm a soccer fan. There's lots and lots of things, genres and other things that I've done over the years, and that gives me a wealth of experience that I can pass on and hopefully help you to save time and money. So that's what the show is about, and that's who Andy Hancock is. I'm an artist that works organically. I wasn't brought up in the art world, as it were. I didn't learn and go to college and do all that stuff. I taught myself. So self-taught. I've been self-employed for 40 years. So if you're thinking about going self-employed or starting a new business or doing a new idea, I'm in the tourism business, so I can talk about niche marketing, guerrilla marketing, all that sort of stuff. But I basically grew up in Australia. I was born in Australia, in Melbourne, and left there as a kid and then went to England, where I lived on a farm, and soon found out I had a mechanical aptitude for things. In other words, tearing them to pieces, not necessarily putting them back together, dear. But then I found I wanted to work on motorcycles. I developed a passion, which I still have, for motorcycles, and I wanted to be a mechanic, so I went off and did that. Then I changed careers altogether because I needed to earn more money, and so I sold insurance. I became a broker eventually, and then I learned about economics and real economics when a man in a bank decided to draw a line under my name and not support my business anymore. So I lost everything, which was a very tough life lesson, but it's just stuff. I learned it was just stuff. And the biggest relief I got from losing everything was the release from the stress of what I was doing. I was literally going to make myself sick. So I was grateful to that man afterwards. I wasn't very grateful at the time, but it taught me a great life lesson. So I'm grateful for that. And then I developed my art practice. I had opportunities to work. I've never been out without a day's work in my life. So I always find it quite amusing when people say, I can't find a job. And that's because you don't want one. So I've done everything from cleaning toilets, driving trucks, working in factories, splitting logs. It doesn't matter. I did whatever I needed to feed my family. So that's what I did. And I also started an art business as well, where I wanted to do larger than life, big sculptures, but I made a lot of sculptures with chainsaws and angle grinders and all sorts of other goodies. So that's what I do. And then I discovered sand. I traveled across the world to America and discovered a beach called South Padre Island, and now I work there and teach tourists how to build sandcastles. So, and I developed that business by learning all about marketing and what works and what doesn't. So I've got quite a basis in all those fields, and I've done lots and lots of other things. My passions are motorcycles, racing. I love racing. I love the great quotation. I love quotations and sayings. I just think they're fun all the time. One of my greatest loves is by Steve McQueen, who said, "Racing is life. Everything before and after is just waiting around." And I believe in that mantra completely. So that's what I do on that. And then soccer, I'm a big Manchester City fan. No, don't start whining if you're a United fan. But I love soccer, and I love the beauty. It's called the beautiful game for a reason. In America, it's not really understood. But I love to talk about soccer. And here's a question for you, and you can answer it in the comment section below. Which is the biggest muscle you use when you're playing soccer? So let's see if you can answer that. So there you go. And then creation. Creation begins with destruction. And I'm also a big fan of recycling on a large scale. I love that sort of stuff. I never had any money when I was an artist, so I had to learn to recycle. It was very, very difficult. So I became very good at recycling. So why the show? Well, a man who never made a mistake never learned anything. That makes me a genius, by the way. So I'm here to pass on the lessons I've learned in order to save you time and money with my experience, communicating through video, which I already do on the Sandcastle side on YouTube. You're on that channel now. And I do it because if a picture paints 1,000 words, a video paints 1 billion. And also texting and messaging and doing all these other things are completely emotionless genres. They don't convey emotion, whereas video, you can see me moving my hands, and you see the mood I'm in, what I'm talking about, whether I'm passionate, whether I'm not bothered, whether I say the word, oh, that's nice, dear. It doesn't mean anything. So you can tell the emotion from a video. You can't tell it from a written message, especially not texting or messaging. There's no emotion. So that's why I'm making the videos, to communicate emotion better, and also to pass on real life stuff, not digital. The link between the digital life and real life is getting further and further away, as is our ability to communicate successfully. So that's why I'm making this show. And success comes from your greatest failures. So a lot of the podcasters will be screaming now, going, oh my dear me, there's reflections on the glasses, the lighting isn't very good, the sound's terrible. I don't know where he's doing this. He looks like he's in a box. I'm talking to an empty camera in an empty room in an empty house. That's right, hoping somebody is listening. Yes. But if I do a successive job at communicating, perhaps more people will listen. So leading into that, press the subscription button and also the notification bell. Don't smash the notification bell. Everybody says that now, smash the bell. No, don't smash, I'll have to fix it. Yeah, we fix stuff. I'm a man fixing things, right? So don't do that. Yeah. Anyway, so that's, I just love it when they say smash the bell. And so there's a lot of different things that I like. I like humor in communication. When you're laughing, you're learning. And it's as simple as that. And people will remember your name, and they'll remember their experience with you. I proved this over 20 years on the beach, and also 40 years as a public artist. So I'm easily capable of passing that on. So there you go. So what are we going to make episodes about? We're going to make them about all sorts of things, all sorts of goodies. I've had to write it all down because it's a list, you know. And yeah, building sandcastles, but why can't we build them at home? I have a lot of people who write to me and say, I wish I could do this, but I'm nowhere near a beach. Well, we're going to figure that out for you. I have a sandcastle lesson area right outside my house, and I've also built them in the middle of nowhere. So, including on a wharf next to a canal in the middle of Wales, in a town. So, you know, I can build a sandcastle area where I can teach people how to build sandcastles anywhere on the planet. And there's a simple system to test the sand, and it's already online and you can look it up. So, changing your life, having a new start, a new strategy. Okay, I can talk about that because I've done it 3 times. Container homes. I built a container home. I've remodeled my small house, which is only 760 square feet. And I have a tiny home sitting on my yard. So I can talk about all that and talk about the choices you have to make. That's where balance and compromise come in. Do you really want to live like that? Because it is a different way of living when you're living in a container home. I built it originally for myself, and then I bought a house for $1. Right, yes. So we'll talk about that in a podcast. And the tourism business. I'm in the tourism business. I can talk about that and talk about the marketing it takes to be in the tourism business and how I've sorted that out over the years, including local politics and how you deal with all the problems, especially competition. I don't see anybody as competition because I try to not do the same thing as everybody else. But even if they are my competition, I don't view them like that. I view them as somebody who can offer a service, and I'm fortunate here they don't offer the same service as I do, so that's great. And even if they did, I know that I work very hard. There is a saying, I love sayings, as I've said before, that the harder I work, the luckier I get. That's not true. The harder you work, the more opportunities you give yourself. That's what that means. There's no such thing as luck. So there you go. Sci-fi. I'm a huge sci-fi nut. I've watched just about everything, literally. And I know the Dark Lord will return. And you and your rebel friends will be out of a job. So we don't have to worry. Because I build Death Stars. I know he's coming back. Yes. So yes, I love sci-fi because it lights the imagination. It tickles my brain, and I like that. And I love the way people think about the future. I mean, and how they perceive it. And so I find that fascinating. The space race. I live 20 miles from the world's biggest rocket, and I can't wait to. That's supposed to be going up sometime this week. Today is the 1st of February, so. It's supposed to be going, or at least test firing its engines this week, so I really hope that's going to happen, because that is going to be some sort of noise, I'll tell you. I want to be standing on the beach when it goes up. I'm gonna record the noise probably from my house to tell you what this sounds like 20 miles away, to give you some sort of idea of the power of this thing. I watched Apollo 11 take off when I was a kid, and the opportunity in my short life to watch the world's biggest rocket take off from a beach where I work is just ridiculous. I think we live in an amazing age, and I just hope that it's all successful and everything goes according to plan, because they're working very hard, and they're setting new frontiers. Oh, I wonder where we've heard that before. That would be in a sci-fi show, wouldn't it? Anyway, so the space race, environmental issues. I've been working alongside the environment for a long, long time, and I like big picture stuff, so I do that. Recycling, talk about recycling, and that's all part of environmental issues as well, especially when you're dealing with the environment, a direct result of the environment. Marketing your niche business. There's a podcast that says that the riches are in the niches. Which I think is fantastic. I always thought it was called a niche, not a niche market, not a niche, but it might be a niche market. I don't speak American. I speak bad English. That's why I'm trying to improve my communication. So there you go. I love marketing, and especially guerrilla marketing. That's my favorite. I just love that. So I'm very interested in that. Valuing your time. There's a lot of things. Value your worth at the moment. That's the vogue word. Value your time. And how do you work that out? How do you work out time versus money, and what's your time worth? A lot of people tell me that I'm going to save money because I'm going to do the job myself. Okay, so does that mean you're going to give up your income for a day to save money by doing something you could pay somebody else for? Yeah, it doesn't seem like saving money. It seems like losing money to me. And I think I'm better off doing what I do best and getting paid, and then paying somebody who's doing what they do best for me, because they're going to do it twice as fast and more efficiently and correctly, rather than me struggling to learn how to do something new. I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. Not going to happen. So there you go. And I'm also going to talk about the great material continuum, and I'm going to put a link below to one of the greatest quotes on a sci-fi show, which sums up life and business, I think, absolutely perfectly, by a man who's making deals to get one end result. And what he's doing is very confusing, and it's very annoying, and it upsets a lot of people, but when he explains it, it is phenomenal. So the link is is below. So that's what the subjects we're going to cover. My name's Andy Hancock, and I want you to respond. The two-way street, as I've said before. I want your comments in the sections below. Please subscribe and hit the bell and do all that stuff. But put your comments below, and then I will respond to everyone. And if I can help you with something, I will. We'll do physical demonstrations. We're going to have guests on who can talk about their life experiences, the changes they've made, if they started a new business, if they built a container home, if they've done, whatever. I mean, it's real people I'll be talking to about their experiences dealing with the things that I would like to talk about and that you would like to hear. So please write to me with subjects, because I can't cover everything. I've done an awful lot of stuff myself, but I could sit here talking all day, but that's not communicating, is it, dear? No, that's just talking. So I'd like your input. And remember, creation always begins with destruction. And why? Because we don't do boring. That's why. So this is the first podcast. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends, and I'll see you on a beach somewhere. And if I don't do that, just don't do boring. Okay? Bye.